Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be interacting with you. I hope you and your loved ones are keeping well. Last 2 years have been difficult for everyone across the world because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Every industry, every sector got affected. But education is definitely one that got severely affected because the pandemic forced school closures. One can only imagine the kind of learning loss that our children have faced in the last 2 years. But I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to each and every one of you, the school leaders, the teachers, the educators. You have shown great resilience and innovation to ensure that our children can access education no matter what's the situation. I'm fortunate that as part of my work, I engage with several school leaders across the country of India. They come from diverse backgrounds and contexts. But when I reflect on their experiences and practices, I realize that there are common traits and patterns. In our work at ShikshaLokam, my organization, we define leadership as the ability to continuously sense, make sense, learn, and improve. Sense what is happening around me that matters, make sense of the data and information to identify what is going well and what's need to be made better, learn new techniques and concepts on how to work on areas of improvement, and finally, putting the learning into action to actually drive the improvements. Leadership is all about putting simple behaviors in practice towards these. And I thought in today's conversation, I'll share 5 such simple practices with you. I'll also show you some pictures. So first is that leaders listen to understand. In one of our schools in the city of Bangalore, school principal and teachers noticed that attendance of parents during parent-teachers conferences was going down. Every teacher had a different explanation for this decrease. So the principal decided to speak to parents and listen to understand what exactly were their concerns. Parents were happily surprised that the principal reached out to them and shared openly. A few shared how the timing of the conferences was inconvenient. Others spoke how they felt that the space was very impersonal. They knew that teachers will share what their ward was good at or weak at, which anyways they get to know from the report cards. So once the principal knew the true concerns, she sat together with her school team and planned the next parent-teachers conference in unique style. Children made invitation cards that they shared with their parents at home. Student performances were planned. Recognition board for parents was put up. The idea was to recognize parents whose children had good attendance and performance in academics and extracurricular activities. The timings of the conference was also changed to suit the convenience of parents. Thus, the school principal could improve one of the key school processes because she cared to listen, to understand better rather than assuming. Let me share the second practice. Good leaders leverage data to drive unbiased action. Typically, all schools collect a lot of data in form of student assessments, classroom observations, and school quality assessments. But this data is rarely discussed in school teams and is rarely used to drive improvement decisions. I have seen that when our school principals started using data in their staff meetings, teachers started paying more attention and creative ideas started flowing more easily. Conversations got directed towards improvements instead of blaming each other or finding excuses. Data is definitely very empowering. Now, third practice that I want to speak about is catalyzing continuous learning, not only for themselves, but also for the teachers in the schools. When we start working with schools, we introduce the school principals to the power of learning circles. Instead of ad hoc trainings twice or thrice in a year, our school principals create a separate slot on a weekly basis at the end of the school hours to host learning circles among academic coordinators and among teachers. Now, one of the principals also invited experts on education to ensure that teachers get enough exposure and learn from such talks. Another school principal created several committees like sports, music, debate committee, etc. They let the teachers be part of these committees so that they can participate in actually designing and implementing the initiatives. Now, the fourth practice is my personal favorite. It says, good leaders inspire innovation. Post COVID-19, when schools started reopening, we soon realized that learning loss is huge. On top of that, students have forgotten what it takes to be in school, sit inside classrooms, and so on. So, five of our school principals formed a group and they exchanged ideas. They kept asking each other, what else? What more can we do? One such ideas they came up with was to initiate project-based learning in the first 2 hours of the school. On this slide, you can see students setting up their own restaurants, forming shapes, creating posters on what is in the news, and many more things. This ensured that children came to school on time, and an active learning journey for each child got accelerated. Without inspiring innovation, the everyday life can get very boring. The fifth and the final practice that good leaders follow is to encourage collective problem solving. Effective leaders know that when people participate in problem solving and co-creating solutions, their ownership improves drastically. Let me share the story of a principal of a government-run schools in India. She was supposed to create a school development plan and submit to her district official. So she planned and conducted the participatory school mapping exercise. She invited teachers, students, and even community and divided them into smaller groups. The groups took a walk around the school and classrooms and shared what did they like and what did they wish to be different in the school. Next, the groups shared their list and collectively arrived at a list of top 10 things to be considered under the school development plan for the year. Isn't that wonderful? Community even committed funds for certain activities. Teachers themselves offered to conduct remedial classes to support children who were lagging behind. Thus, collective problem solving helped the school principal get more support. Now, the most important thing that best of the leaders practice is nurturing positivity. As leaders, many times our minds are so occupied with new challenges, and at times we are managing crisis. As you practice the rest of the 5 behaviors, it is very important to radiate positive energy, no matter what the situation. One of our school principals started a gratitude wall for teachers, where students, parents, and teachers could share sweet notes of gratitude for teachers in the school. In another school, the principal held quarterly awards and recognition ceremonies for outstanding teachers. People often ask me, is it true that anybody can be a leader? Well, my answer is yes. Certainly, like any of us can be a parent, any of us can become a leader. The real question is, do we want to become a leader? Leadership is not about doing one heroic things once in a while. It is about those everyday practices that make a difference. In my mind, developing leadership is like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once a year, you do it every day without fail, and this results in healthy teeth. Practicing these simple 5 behaviors every day will surely make each one of us a wonderful leader. I wish you all the very best in your leadership journey. May this year bring you opportunities to learn and to form strong communities of practice. Thank you.